Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how I made this 10-gallon bioactive vivarium with a waterfall, mistmaker, and a pool. So first off, I wanted to make the structure for the waterfall. I'm just using foam board here. You can get this from any hobby store. I scored it and then I cracked it so it was still joined together, but it's very easy to draw straight lines this way. And I did this so I could make a square to elevate the mistmaker and make up the part of the waterfall. So I put the pump for the waterfall just on the ground. You can see it there in the back corner. And then I wrapped a square of this foam core around it to build a little surface. I cut a hole in the bottom for the intake and put sponge over it to make sure that nothing gets sucked up into the filter and that it can, keep operating. And once I had that there, I ran the hose from the pump out through it. The water from this pump is going to fill up a red solo cup that I'm putting on top. The red solo cup has my ultrasonic mistmaker in it, and I've cut a hole where the waterfall will come out slightly above the height required for the ultrasonic mistmaker. So it fills up the cup, which gives water for the ultrasonic mistmaker, changes it to mist, which will flow out the opening along with water. And I tested it and it looked like it was working great. So I moved on to making some shelves and things inside the tank, just gluing pieces of foam along the wall to make it more 3D. And now I'm spray foaming the background. This is black aquarium safe spray foam. I highly recommend using black. A lot of people use white, but the black spray foam, when you carve it, really looks like lava rock. It blends in really well. So it's definitely worth ordering from Amazon or something if you can't find it in your local hardware store, because I really like the look. So I just covered the entire background with spray foam. Then I sliced it up. So to slice it, I just want facets so it looks a little bit like rock. You just want to expose the foam. So instead of shiny, it's that matte color. And the more you cut it up, the more natural it'll look. So just have faith with this part. It can take a long time, but really cut all of it at weird angles, make sure it looks unnatural, and remove as much of the outer layer as you can. You can also just rip it off with your fingers, but using a knife or a razor scraper is easier. Once you've done that, it's time for silicone. So I used black aquarium silicone, just squirted it straight on the foam and used that to hold some driftwood pieces in place. For my driftwood pieces, I wanted to create some shelves for plants to grow on and for my animals to climb on. So I'm making sure that some of them are sticking out and there's an actual room there. And then I coated the entire background with that silicone. And that's so I can stick substrate to the background and make it look even more natural. With the black aquarium foam, I'm not worrying too much about whether I miss any potential spots because, it looks good even when it's poking through. For additional hardscape, I have these two pieces of lava rock that I just plunked in, and I put some spider wood on top, and I layered sponge that I cut to the exact dimensions to fit around the rocks to make up my base substrate layer, just to wherever the water level was going to be in the tank. And I use that to also elevate it a little bit in the back. Whenever you have higher elevations in the back, it creates more depth and more interest. And then there's also a little cave on the right, which goes down a little bit into the water, and a pool on the front right. So I tested out the waterfall, works great, looks great, was very happy with it, and the mistmaker was working as well. For substrate in all the aquatic areas, I used pure aqua soil. If you don't know, aqua soil is what they use in planted aquariums. It's completely inert, so it's not going to mold or rot or anything like that. And it's very nutrient rich, so it's great for growing plants in. So I use that in all the areas that are below the water level. And then on the rest of the tank, I used a mixture of aqua soil, sphagnum moss, and cocoa fiber. These are some of the plants I used. I propagated them in this box here. I've got trident leaf fern, rabbit's foot fern. This is a green Fittonia or a white nerve plant that I planted along the background. And then I also added in some climbing plants such as creeping fig and oak leaf creeping fig. And then I put this moss along the front and a piece of grapewood to add more cave structures for animals to hide in. I made sure to add some pockets of soil to retain moisture along some of the walls, and also pinned moss in place to get the moss started growing on the walls as well. And here's what it looks like right after planting. I added some more moss over the next week or so, and some of the ferns and some more of the creeping plants, and just let it grow in for several weeks. So here it is after 2 weeks. I added some leaf litter. You can see the moss is looking good. Some of the climbing plants are starting to take root. Everything looks very healthy. And I'm just going to show you what the tank looks like after a month and then 2 months. So please enjoy the rest of the video. I thought about doing this in multiple videos, but I think it's kind of nice to see the progression of a tank over one video. And I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. There's one plant down there at the bottom by the wet section. That's a hydrocotyl plant. It's an aquatic plant, and it flourished in this tank really well. I should say I also added springtails, which are a small microorganism that breaks down waste and prevents mold within the tank. They're super useful in any bioactive enclosure. One thing you'll notice about this tank is there's a lot of dark hiding spots for the frog, and then there's a lot of also levels and stuff like that. The reasons there's so many dark hiding spots is because the more places your animal has where it can dash and be completely covered at a moment's notice, actually the more you'll see it, because if it always feels like it could hide in a second, then it'll always feel secure and you'll be able to see it around more. And then I made a lot of levels because this 10-gallon tank isn't very large. You can't keep a lot of animals in it, and for that one animal that you might keep in here, you really want to maximize their footprint and their space. So by adding levels like this, you can kind of double the area that they'd be able to walk on and explore, and it also looks a lot more natural. The waterfall and the mistmaker work together to keep this tank at nearly 100% humidity. The plants grow really well from it. The moss loves it, and just everything really grows, especially along this waterfall here, and I really love the look. So here's the tank after 1 month. And here's the tank after 2 months. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe or leave a comment letting us know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and enjoy. I ended up selling it to a very nice couple who use it as a terrarium decoration, and they plan on getting a frog for it soon.